So I'm here with my friends James and Jen, and in case you don't remember who they are, here's a little video clip to just remind you.
I lived up on Granite Hill. I walked in every day, 3-4 times a day to find my fix, to go to the food pantry downtown to get something to eat. That's just how my life went for about 3 years.
Living in my car was rough. You don't sleep at night. You'll doze off and wake up for every little noise because you don't know who's around you. You don't know, even at the rest area they get rough. You can hear people because you're not the only homeless person living there. My health was failing. My legs were so swollen I could barely move around. So you can get away with that for only a certain amount of time.
So that's James and Jen. They are former residents of the Gospel Rescue Mission. They're graduates. They have continued to do well, and we are often asked, sure, they do really good while they're there, but what do they do? How well do they do after they leave? And all that stuff. And I thought, well, I can answer the question, or you guys can answer the question. How you guys doing?
Doing very awesome.
Very awesome.
Really good and blessed.
Yeah? Describe very awesome. Tell me what's going on in your life.
Clean and sober, full-time job, got a vehicle, got a beautiful house. I got great friends and family. Pretty blessed for that.
That's pretty awesome. How long have you been clean and sober?
I've been clean and sober 37 months.
Right. You know what? I can't wait until it's been so long you can't even remember.
I'm waiting for that moment too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And now you have left the mission's Hope House, transitional home, gotten into your own place. You roomed up. You got into a 3-bedroom house?
Yeah, we got a 2,000 square foot home. It's on 138 acres, and I've got 2 former residents living with me right now, and we get along fabulous.
That's great. That's great. And we got to go to the housewarming party, and it was lots of fun. And you guys, I think all of our staff was kind of envious of the location. I mean, you're just beautiful out there in the Applegate. You're doing fantastic. Your roomies are all doing good. All kind of helping each other stay accountable and just enjoying each other's company still because you're all good friends, right?
Oh, yeah. It was a huge transition. We were expecting something a little smaller because it's hard to find houses around Grants Pass. But thanks by the grace and love from Big Jeff, he found us a beautiful home out in Applegate.
Awesome. That's fantastic, man. And so, and Jen, you also have done really good. You came to the mission, not really dealing with a sobriety issue as much. You've been
Just
pretty much
being
clean
homeless.
and sober
Yeah.
your whole life. You know?
Yeah. Just bad choices leading me being homeless in my car
Okay.
off and on for quite a while.
And now when you left, you had been staying at Faith House, and now you've graduated out
and bought a house.
And you and another mission resident bought
Our own house.
Man, that's amazing.
It's a blessing.
Tell everybody about that.
Buying the house or the whole thing?
Any of it, yeah.
Well, we were looking, we were all planning on renting, but then I really don't want to rent because it's still living under somebody else's authority of them telling you what you can do, who you can have over, much time somebody can spend in your house.
Right.
So me and a former resident, Kim, decided to say, hey, maybe we could buy a house and to be equal on there.
Yeah.
And stuff. So Shauna got us in touch with a
realtor?
Yeah, not a realtor, the loan people.
Oh, okay.
The loan guy, and we were struggling with that, and then we weren't really qualified for a lot, so then we couldn't really find something with what they were telling us we needed. So I got discouraged, and then when Monica came on as the coordinator, she said, don't get discouraged. God has something for you. Because we looked at so many houses. And
I remember you guys were just looking.
Some we really liked, but we got outbid on some of them. And some I didn't like it all.
Yeah.
And Kim kind of liked, but we wanted both of us to like the house.
Yeah.
Then you came along and said that the pastor from First Christian was selling his house, and for me to get in touch with him, and I did.
Yeah.
And that's the house we got.
Yeah, that's just an amazing thing. When the Christian
blessing.
community comes together and does good things, you know, the former pastor of First Christian Church was moving and just decided not really to worry about market value of the house, but just wanted to get what he thought was a fair price out of it, and which worked really, really good for you guys too, because it was a really fair price. It was fair
And
to you
he's
guys.
the one that baptized Kim.
And he was the pastor
So
that baptized
amazing.
your roommate, Kim.
Yep.
Yep. You know, again, when the church comes together and when it's doing good things, everybody gets blessed. It's like this just a little explosion of amazing stuff that happens. Now, you guys both working full-time. You have 2 part-time jobs
equal to
that probably
full-time.
equal at least a full-time
It equals
job.
a full-time job.
And you work full-time. You work at, I know, but people who are watching probably won't know.
I'm the general manager for the Rock Food Pantry and also the manager for the Backdoor Bargains. It's across the street.
Okay, and then you are...
Part-time at The Rock is the data manager, and then at Booth part-time
Okay.
doing whatever Connie
Booth Street
needs me
Thrift
to.
Store there. Okay.
Booth Street Thrift Store, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been a
Well,
blessing.
You guys are amazing, and when we tell people in the community that somebody from the mission is a good choice to hire and stuff, I mean, we really believe that, so, and we believe it so much that, well, we'd hire you. You know, I mean, we're not. I mean, we've got several staff members that came through our mission program and have done really good. And you guys are, you know, also those kinds of folks. Well, golly, you're independent now. I mean, tell me the things. Tell me some of the things that have been struggles in that process of independence. It's stuff that, you know, I mean, obviously there's things that maybe you feel comfortable sharing, stuff that you might not, but what are some of the struggles of being independent?
I think with rooming with somebody, because, you know, you're all in a structured thing at the mission, and even at Faith House. So it's not like being out on your own trying to room with somebody, because you have to be flexible when you're out on your own, because the other part, when you're living at these places, we're structured. We all have the same routine. But being out on your own, you both have different routines, different way of doing things, and so you have to take into that and be gracious with each other, which sometimes is hard, and you fight over dumb stuff, or you get mad over silly things because it's not your way. Because
that never happens in my relationship with my wife.
Never.
Ever,
I understand.
Ever, for the record. Okay. Yeah.
But it's just because we're different. We have to realize that we're different. But the mission is a structure, so we all are on the same page. When you're out on your own, you're not on the same page.
Yeah, and you have
different.
somebody who's kind of like the arbiter of the things that you're doing. So you have like an authority that you can appeal to. You have an authority that you can appeal to help kind of settle disputes and disagreements.
Right.
But when you're in a house together and you're
To
both
do it on your
equal
own.
authority and on
It's a little bit-
everything, kind of different, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, that's something that's
So
hard to
like
plan
when
for.
you moved in with your roommates, did you guys have set rules, or did you guys just like move in with no rules at all, or?
Well, when we originally moved into the house out there, we were trying to get ourselves out of the structured living, like being able to, like living in the mission. You walk in, you do the same routine every day. You get up, you go to breakfast, you go to chapel. At the house, we get up, we start a fire. We cook breakfast. We make coffee. We go out on our deck, drink some coffee. We just every day we try to do a different structure. You know, like one guy will sweep and mop the floors. The other guy bring in firewood, or another guy chop some wood. We just make it a routine. You know, to get out of that set mindset of when we were structurally in the mission. You know.
So it's funny. What you do is you're just swapping the mission routines for new routines, but they're yours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
You don't get in trouble if you don't wake up at 5:30 and check in or
Right.
whatever. So you can wake up, but do your own thing
Yeah.
at your own time, at your own leisure. But then you can't say this person, oh, they're not doing the same thing. You have to say, because they're on their own time, they're on their own independent clock or whatever you call it.
Yeah. It's a challenge, isn't it? I mean,
It
it's a challenge, but it's also, with freedom, you still have responsibility.
Right.
You
Oh,
still you still have things that you
Yeah.
have to be committed to, and you have freedom, but you're not just free to do anything. I
Right.
mean, you still have to think about that you live with other
Another
people and
person.
how you
And
impact
still have
other
maintain
people.
that respectful
Yeah.
thing that's what you guys went into it for, because you guys cared about each other and liked each other and
Yeah.
say, oh, we'll get along great. This will be a great thing.
Yeah.
And stuff. So you still have to be gracious to each other because we all have flaws. We're all
Yep.
broken.
Yep.
And stuff. So we can't fight with each other because we're living under the same roof now.
Right.
There's nobody to moderate that fight.
Right.
But
right.
us.
There
yeah.
isn't.
No, that's right. Well, that's right. That's, I mean, part of that getting your own home, and part of the thing about homefulness is learning that sometimes a delicate balance of earning each other's trust, of being kind to one another, of putting out effort when it's not always convenient, those kinds of things that all are part of what makes home good.
Right.
Right.
And you're in the process of developing that even now, in some way. And we're always nurturing. I'm always nurturing that in my home. Is how do I do that well? And that's a process. It just takes time.
I don't think that we would have been able to do it without the mission,
Yeah.
if that makes sense, because they gave us the structure to build from that foundation.
Yeah.
Yep.
And stuff, because we were homeless for a reason. Something we were doing in our lives wasn't working to lead us to that.
Okay.
So I think with the mission and us having to do the routines that become annoying after a while, after the 6 months, why am I still here? And I'm tired of getting up at 5:30 and checking in and doing all these rules. But it then allows you, when you do leave and get on your own, you still have that foundation of, okay, this is what I have to do. I have to get up in the morning. I have to go to work.
Yep.
I have to go do this. I have to take care of myself.
Yep.
So I have to clean my house. I have, all those things that we did at the mission, we're still continuing to do.
That's right.
Yes.
That's the thing. When we hear people talking about the mission, a lot of times you hear people, they're very focused on the fact that we have rules. They're very concerned about, are our rules appropriate, and do we have too many, and that kind of stuff. But when, at the end of the day, and I try and tell them, they're the same rules that every person who does life right, they do them all the time. They just don't call them rules. But that's what they are. They're rules. They're things that they do in their own life, and it's part of what makes life well. And they don't feel like, oh man, I got all these rules to do. They just know, hey, I'm getting up a little bit before my wife. I'll make her some coffee, not just coffee for myself. I'm making a meal. I don't just make it for myself, but I
Right.
make it for everybody. Boy, we made a big mess in the kitchen. I'm going to pitch in to clean up. And we don't sit there and we don't let ourselves think, well, yeah, I'm just sitting here on the couch and it's really comfortable right now, so I'll leave it to somebody else. And we
Right.
don't sit there and count, well, I did my part, now you got to do your part. Everybody just pitches in 100%.
Because if you start doing that tit for tat, well, I did it this time, it's your turn.
Right.
Then nothing will probably get done because that
nothing
person
works.
might not think it's their turn or whatever. So you just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I cook dinner, Kim will clean up. If Kim cooks, I'll clean up, or we'll do it together and stuff. So it just works like that in the
And
house.
you just don't sit and count it. You're not keeping a
No,
record
we
of it. You
never
just
keep
do it.
record of
You
that
just do
because
it.
Right.
if you keep
I
record,
mean-
you're always going to be miserable. Why
Right.
keep records?
Well, see, that's like us three guys out there. I mean, one cooks. It doesn't matter who cooks or who cleans. We all make it a third. That's our goal in that house is thirds. Everybody's got to do their third. One person comes in, cleans all the dishes. Next one loads the dishwasher. We make it a routine. Everything has got to be done in a whole. Not
So what do you do if somebody gets sick?
we cover them.
Right.
You know?
So
And-
then all of a sudden thirds don't matter anymore, do they?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like with Mike. You know, Mike's having a lot of problems with his feet.
Okay.
You know, so we'll always be checking up on Mike. How you doing? How you doing?
Okay.
Hey, I got the dishes. Appreciate you doing the floors. You know, we're constantly looking out over each other, making sure we're all doing the routine.
Right.
But
right.
a different routine.
See, one of the things that I think that makes family work, that makes all good relationships work, is when we, we typically look and go, well, I'm going to do my part, but then what happens is that there's moments in life where somebody can't, and we don't think about then a transaction where they didn't do their part.
Right.
Everybody just gives 100%. We're always giving 100%. So I'll do it all if necessary, and it doesn't
Amen to
matter.
that.
I don't care. I'm not counting. I'll do everything. But when you're when your family and everybody in the family comes to the table thinking that way, then everybody gives 100%. Then it's then it makes the work go easy. Then we're enjoying each other for helping, and we're appreciative of everybody else because I was willing to do it all. But somebody came up and did a third, or whatever, and did.
But isn't that like giving your family grace because
it is?
One might be tired more than that day.
Yeah.
So say, okay, you're cooking and then you expect them to come clean and they don't. So you do it without complaining because maybe they're tired, maybe they had a hard, rough
Exactly.
day. So you just give that love and grace to each other. And I think that's what the mission was teaching us too, is to give grace and love to each other like Jesus would want us to. Because if we're constantly, well, I did it this time, that's not loving, that's not kind.
Yeah.
And stuff. It's not. It's
That's
like
right.
do your part and be gracious to the next person in the family.
Yep.
And we're all family
Right.
and stuff. And so if somebody doesn't do something in the house, we're not going to get mad.
Right.
And you're just going to do it because it's going to have to get done either way.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. Well,
Exactly.
and that's what makes mission residents, I think, when they catch on to that. That's what makes them good roommates.
Right.
That's what makes them great employees. That's what makes them good friends. That's what, because what we're doing is we're just being reintroduced into what it means to love other people and to consider other people more important than ourselves, and to just be good hard workers. It is the outflow of the gospel, which is what we just continuously do. And what happens is the gospel changes us. It changes who we are and how we think. Well, so let's imagine that there's maybe somebody who's watching this, who's considering coming into the mission. Okay, and you guys both have come into the mission, and you remember. You both have different experiences about maybe what it was like coming into the mission. But imagine that there's somebody watching this that's going, man, I'm thinking about it, but I don't know. I hear all about the rules, or I hear all about whatever, or I'm just not sure. I'm just scared. Is there anything either one of you'd say to that person? What would you say?
You will be scared coming.
Yeah.
I was scared coming in.
Yeah.
I was sad. I was scared because I had let my life get the way it was.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you have to say, do you want it to continue like that? Or do you want to have something at the end of the day? Do you want to feel safe? Do you want to be fed? Do you want to be clean? Mm-hmm. And I appreciate the rules that they did have, that you can't smoke, you can't drink. Even though I'm not an addict or had any of that struggle, I wouldn't want someone coming in smelling like smoke because I don't like that smell. And if that's your struggle, of course you wouldn't want to be around other people that are struggling, but then you guys would have that in common. And then you guys can talk about that. And you find like a sisterhood or a brotherhood in that, and encouragement in that, well, this person's been clean 5 months, or this person's just becoming clean and stuff. And you wouldn't want to be around that because that will be, I think, harder to let it go and stuff. So I encourage anybody that wants to come.
Yeah.
And stuff, get off the streets. It's cold outside. It's miserable outside.
Yeah.
And that's what made me finally decide to go check back in, because I didn't want to keep being dirty and seeking where to find a shower. I didn't want to keep going to the store and eating a sandwich, or not eating at all, or waiting for Sunday when they came feed us at the park and stuff. And I didn't want to be cold all the time or be up all night because there's noises and I don't feel as safe. Because it's not safe. It's not safe to be sleeping in your car or even those people that don't have a car and they're just sleeping on the street. I've done that too. And it's not safe. You can't just have a full-on sleep. You can't just get that good sleep because you have to listen.
There's just no rest.
There's
You've
no
always got
rest.
one eye open.
Even during the day, you have one eye open because when I was homeless, the police would come bother you
Sure.
because they would say, you can't sleep in the park. You can sit in your car, but I can't be asleep. You can't be covered up and stuff. So it wasn't restful any time you were getting sporadic sleep.
Right.
And you always felt tired.
Right.
And you're always feeling dirty, searching for a place to go to the bathroom. And when COVID hit, all the bathrooms were closed. So where were we going to the bathroom? We'd have to take what little money we had to go to a hotel to shower and get maybe a good day of rest
Right.
and stuff. It just wasn't, it was not
What a
fun.
hard life. What a hard way to do. How was it for you, James?
Me, it was a struggle.
Yeah. I mean, coming in, I remember when we talked about you coming in, and you were really nervous about.
Oh, I was a wreck when I came in here. I wasn't ready to give up my addiction.
Yeah. I think you were high the day that I.
Oh,
brought you in.
when I walked in and you looked at me and you're like, James, let's take a walk.
Yeah.
You know, I knew there was something that needed to be changed.
Yeah.
You're like, you know, you knew I was loaded. I knew I was loaded. I knew I needed a new lifestyle.
Yeah.
I couldn't continue to jump your fence, sleep underneath your awning, jump the fence, go to the store to get loaded. I knew eventually I would have been caught, and I did. I think that was probably I was at my peak. I was ready. I couldn't handle the railroad tracks no more. Stage 2 athlete's foot. Almost had to have my feet lanced. And I didn't know how to shut my addiction off because it was the only way I knew how to stuff my feelings.
Right.
You know, I didn't want people to see me, you know. I just wanted to see that glow like, hey, you're a happy guy. But inside,
You weren't happy.
I wasn't happy.
No.
I wasn't happy at all. You know, I put on that facade to, yeah, you know, I'm doing well.
Right,
But
that
deep
fake.
down inside, I'm all loaded and I'm just like, man, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? You know? For those out there listening, you know, you just got to step up. You got to make that initial step.
Yeah.
If you want it, you got to take it. Nobody else can make you do this. You just got to humble yourself. You got to pick up your head. You got to be positive. Be assertive with yourself because you're the only one who can do it.
And you got to know that it's an illusion out there. It's not; those aren't your friends. Because where are they when you don't have nothing to give them? Where are they going to be?
Yeah.
They're not your friends.
Yeah, boy, you know, I've battled with that in conversation with people all the time when I tell them, you know, the people on when they talk about the homeless community, and I'm like, there's no community there. There's no it's not community. It's people. It's ticks feeding off of each other. You know, it's people. They're just trying to survive, and they're just trying to drain each other's blood, and there's no way. None of them have anything good to offer each other but tears, and you know, and the occasional sharing of something that they stole or was given to them or that, you know, whatever, that, you know, they bought with what very little meager resources they may have had.
Been there, done it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I come in every morning. I get to work about between 6 and 6:15 every morning, and I come by Riverside Park, and it's sad. You know, every time I drive by there, I see myself.
Yeah.
Too.
I never went to them extremes to be in town to expose myself, but just seeing them, you know, it makes me kind of like fall over a little bit because it's sad. You know,
I think everybody that sees it feels that way. I mean, I think that's and I think that's a right and natural response to look and see people living beneath their dignity, to look at them and see, you know, what has become of them, and to, you know, I think we all know in our hearts they're not made for that. There's got to be something better. and they may need to be forced into the direction, but something's got to be done to save this and to stop them from living this way. The question's just always kind of, well, what's the right answer? And I know there's always people that want to start, tent camps and all this stuff. And boy, we've seen so many people that have come in out of a tent camp who tell us stories about how horrifying it was.
I would think it would be scary to live in a tent camp with other people that are in, because I'm not in addiction, like you said. That's not what led me to homelessness, but there might be somebody who's like me, just homeless for bad choices, living in a tent camp where people are high and drunk, and that's not safe. No. That's why I see a lot of people with dogs, because that dog is kind of a comfort and protection.
A little bit of protection, yeah. You look at how many of them are just carrying big weapons, knives and guns
machetes
and whatnot. Yeah, lots of machetes and stuff, And and it's just this terror, this terror defense that in the end, isn't fair to the dog, isn't fair to the person. Why should a person have to live like that, And they don't have to live like that.
But they're choosing to, because they had that illusion of when you're high and drunk, you're going to feel good.
Yeah.
Like James said he felt like he was happy all the time. And stuff. That's an illusion. You're not happy, because when that wears off, you're still faced with the reality of, I'm in a tent, or I'm sitting outside, freezing, or I'm in my car.
Yeah.
It's all the same whether you're outside in a car or in a tent. You're all homeless.
Yeah. Yep.
There's no comfortability in that.
Golly.
I was homeless for so long. I got wounds on my legs and was going to wound care all the time because my legs were leaking. Half the population that are homeless are probably so unhealthy.
Yeah.
Walking with canes or walkers or pushing. Why do we collect things when we're homeless? Pushing baskets around with mountains of stuff.
Like, mountains of stuff.
I don't get it. And I'm one of them. I didn't push. My car was full of stuff. I'm like, for what? We're home. We have nowhere to put it. What?
I think that it's this this sense of something in the world is mine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everything's being taken from me. I have no control over most of my life, but I can protect this, 2x4 spot that is this cart that I'm pushing.
But isn't that like a lie we tell ourselves? I don't have control over my life. You do. You have a choice.
You have a choice.
You're making that choice not to have control over your life.
That's right.
Exactly.
So that's a choice.
I think you're right.
We chose not to go to the mission when we first became homeless.
Yeah.
We had heard such stuff about it.
Yeah.
But then we went and it wasn't that bad. It is hard.
Yeah.
But life is hard.
Yeah.
I'd rather be hard at the mission than hard outside and somebody kill me out there or something.
Well, so let me ask you this. You guys have your own places now. Mm-hmm. You by your own admission, you guys have your own sets of rules now that you follow and walk by. They're probably not that different from the rules of the mission. Is life harder now than it was when you were homeless, or is it easier?
It's a different kind of hard.
It's a different kind of hard.
Okay.
You have priorities now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have bills that come in.
Yeah.
And that's what's so humbling to me. It took me a lot of years to get myself out of debt.
Yeah.
Now today it's like it's a cultural shock. It's like I can open up my bank account and I can see money in my bank account, and it's humbling just to know that you did it.
Yeah.
You've got to step by step. You can't just jump into it. You have to work your way into it.
So it's a different kind of hard. And you could still make the choice to go back to being homeless and take that kind of hard. This is a better kind of hard?
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
Blessing kind of hard, if that makes sense.
Okay.
As far as like, I pull up to the house, I sit in my car and I say, thank you, God, for this house.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to do it without you, and that's the truth.
That's right. I say the same thing.
I got up this morning, I'm like, I have to go to work today. I hadn't been able to say that, for a long time because I was on SSI. That SSI check would not have afforded me a house.
That's right.
At all.
That's right.
I wouldn't have been able to pay any bills off of that.
That's right.
So I'm like, thank you for these jobs I have to afford this house that you granted me.
Yeah.
So it is a different kind of hard when you're tired and you just want to sit around on the couch.
Sure.
So you prioritize and you push yourself.
Yeah.
Because you know it's worth it. It's
Yeah.
worth not being homeless. Ooh, Boston, turn off his phone.
It's not my phone.
That's my phone.
That's James's phone.
Boston, turn off his phone.
Live on Mission Live. So, well, at least it was a catchy little jingle. I like that.
Right.
So it sounds like Tinkerbell in the background or something. That's kind of cool.
But like it is a different kind of hard. But you have to tell yourself it's worth it. I'd rather have this type of hard
Yeah.
than the hard outside where I was cold and
That's
hungry
what I was-
and not having no shower and having wounds on my legs. And I'd rather this
Yeah.
versus that.
I think the average homeless person might say, I would rather that too. But I'm just not sure if the mission can get me there. Or I'm not sure if I'm capable of becoming what you guys have become.
Everybody has the I don't know the word I was looking for, the opportunity or
Yeah.
the drive in them.
Okay.
I think God put in all of us for a purpose. He created us all for a purpose. His purpose is different from mine and yours.
Yeah.
So we all have that instilled in us to do better.
Uh-huh.
I don't think people wake up, I'm going to be homeless today.
Sure.
But once I think you get to that point where you are homeless, it's like a downward spiral. You don't know where to go. I
Yeah.
never expected to be homeless in my car for 9 months,
Yeah.
8 months. I didn't expect to be at the mission as long as they did.
Yeah.
But God moved me there for a reason.
Yep.
Placed me there for as long as I did because I needed to learn things to not be homeless ever again.
Right.
And to prioritize and to seek Him instead of other things.
Yeah.
And to be grateful for the things that I do have. But I don't think the people that are homeless wake up and say, I think I'll be homeless today.
Right.
But once you are homeless, it's so hard to get out of.
Yeah.
Especially if you're staying on the streets.
Because
Yeah.
it's stuck in your brain.
Yeah.
You know, I remember, I can't remember going back when I actually first became homeless here.
Was it a shock when you became homeless?
I was scared.
You?
You
It was
know,
a shock that I was
didn't-
homeless.
I had nowhere to go. I didn't know who to look for. I had no means of work. I had no money. I had no clothes. I didn't have anywhere to sleep. You know, I had to find somewhere.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I tend to think that homelessness kind of, I think one of the common things amongst homeless is hopelessness in a
Yes.
lot of ways. So if I don't have any hope that it can be better,
Yeah.
then I don't have any drive to achieve better,
That's
or
true.
anything. I have nothing to do it. And so I guess part of the reason that we wanted to have you guys here and talk is because you guys just fill my heart with hope. You guys are the ones that, I look forward to, and I'm just like you, sis. I get up every day and I go out to my car and I'm like, Lord, thank you for this vehicle that I have, and thank you that I get to go work with my friends. The people that are I look forward to seeing you guys. I look forward to spending time with you, and all my other coworkers. I look forward to seeing what God might have in store in your lives, and to be able to just cut it up and have fun with you and everything. I mean, you guys
Sure.
you guys are genuinely my friends, and I love working with you. Well, that's really, I think, what we were looking for in all of this. Maybe one last thought. There's people who donate to the Gospel Rescue Mission, who support us. And people who maybe are thinking about where they spend their holiday or their year-end giving and stuff. Anything you'd say to any of those guys, just to encourage them maybe to consider sharing their funds with us or whatever?
Or their time to volunteer at the Rock.
Yes.
We could always
took
use
the words right out of my mouth.
We could always use volunteers at the Rock.
Amen
Okay.
to that.
And so-
Always.
Rock Food Pantries in Grants Pass. It's kind of adjacent to the Gospel Rescue Mission. It's a separate organization, but it's it's the largest food pantry in Josephine County. It's at 564 Southwest Foundry Street. We give away food. We do food distribution on Thursday Thursdays from 1 to 5, on Saturdays from 9 to noon. There's always something to do around there as far as bag filling, as far as just work and in organizing. We've got the best group of volunteers on the planet. If you want to have fun, it's a great place to do it. And we can use your help volunteering at the Gospel Rescue Mission as well. A little more challenging because we do, so many different things at the mission, whereas the Rocket's just pretty straightforward.
Sure.
Grab a bag, stick it in somebody's car, tell them have a nice day.
Oh, no, not just grab a bag. It's a lot more than just
It's a lot more than that.
Some people are picky. But we appreciate all our volunteers, and we like to say thank you to them, for the mission, and for everybody that's donated and giving to Hope House, Faith House. I know when I was at Christmas time at Faith House the first year, it was like, oh, I'm here, but it was nice. We had a nice Christmas from all the people that donated to us.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that, and I want to thank them for that.
That's right.
And when we were at the mission, had a Christmas at the mission, I was COVID then.
Oh, yeah,
I had
that's
COVID
right.
then.
That's
and
right.
It was the first
2019.
Christmas, it was the first Christmas without my mom.
Oh,
she had just passed.
Oh, my
and I was
goodness.
quarantined, and it was miserable. But the people that donated, we had one girl, Brittany, that was coming around giving the gifts to everybody that got donated. And so it was a blessing in itself that we were remembered at that time. Yeah. So thank you to the volunteers and people that donate. You guys are a blessing to the mission girls and the mission men. And
I'm very grateful for my volunteers. They make my job look easy.
Yeah.
It's not a simple job. And I just give a shout out to all my volunteers who do come in and donate their time to help me with that business. It's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you give and you share to the Gospel Rescue Mission, what I'm hoping people get is when their heart breaks for what they see at the parks and what they see, under the freeway exits and what they see, where they're just seeing people filled with despair. When they're sharing with a Gospel Rescue Mission, what they're giving is hope, and what they're giving is bringing hope to people who were once those guys, those girls out there in the tents, in the sleeping in their car, doing these different things, struggling and thinking that it's hopeless, and they're helping provide that hope. And it's not just an empty hope. I mean, here you guys are with, having graduated from our program, gained everything, turning around and contributing back to the community that blessed you, and that's an awesome thing. So, thanks for taking the time to come in.
Of course.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And we will, and we'll just end it with that. That's a wrap for another Mission Live, and our second attempt at this video interview. And I want to thank you guys for joining me again. Thank you for taking the time. Absolutely. God bless you. You can find us at grantspassmission.org. You can support us that way. Please keep James and Jennifer in your prayers, and continue to, send people our way as you see people who are struggling. We want to be a beacon of hope in a world that's not offering a lot of that sometimes. So Merry Christmas. God bless you. Thank you. And we'll see you next time.